Hi everyone, welcome to this DNA online training course with lab support. I am Ratnesh, I am your trainer for this particular course, and what you will get in this course, obviously complete end-to-end training related to DNA, means what is DNA, how it is working, what are the components, how we can manage from DNA, how we can manage the wired and wireless network, how we can do the automation for DNA, then how we can integrate with SD access, means how we can go and enable SD access within the DNA. So all these topics with lab you will get in this particular training. Now I have partnership with Graphy by Unacademy, and you will get all these 20-hour training videos in their platform. So once you are watching this video, you can see the description box below where you will get the link related to this course, ABC of Cisco DNAC 20 hours online training course. Now, what is the benefit? Once you go and join this particular course, the benefit is this, that obviously you will get the videos, you will get all the documents used in this video, like all the PPTs, slides, PDF, lab documents, everything you will get once you go and enroll for this particular training. Not only that, you will get the automation script used in this course as well. Whatever automation I have used in one of the 2-hour session, you will get that script once you go and purchase this course. And finally, where you perform the lab tasks. So I'm going to provide you the lab for 1 month. Once you go and enroll this course, then you can email and then you will get the lab for 1 month, means whatever you will study, whatever document you follow, whatever video instruction you have followed, you want to do hands-on, right? So to do the hands-on, you will get the lab, DNA and 8 routers, virtual routers, that you can go and play around with all the tasks that we are using, all the training, all the lab steps that we are using in this particular training. All right. So I hope that you will go and enroll this course and you will become very good in DNA. I will not tell that you will become expert, but you should get at least the professional level knowledge after completing this particular course. Okay, please go enroll, and thanks for your enrollment. Thanks for joining. Today we are inside day number 2 and we'll continue the DNAC basics. And then we'll go and discover for a few more devices within the DNA, and we will learn about how we can go and create the network profile within the DNA. What is the use of network profile within the DNA? So let's start. Now, yesterday we have seen this activity, how we can go and discover the devices within the DNA. It's fairly easy process. What you need to do, you have to go to the tools. From the tools, you can go and go to the discovery. Once you are inside the discovery, then you can give the IP address or CDP or the loopback addresses, and then your discovery will get the start. So what are the workflow we have for this? You have to go to the menu. From menu, you have to go to the tools. From tool section, you have to go and click the discovery. Once you are inside the discovery page, then in that page itself, you have to give the name for the discovery. Once you give the name, it will ask you that what is your IP address or what's the CDP or LLDP, means how you want to discover the devices, CDP, actually this is not CDS, CDP, LLDP, etc. And then you have to go and give the credentials like CLI credential or SNMP. You can go and specify the port as well, port 830 for netconf. Once we discover the device, then what is the next? Next thing that you have to do is that discovered device, you have to go and map to the sites. Now those sites that we have, we should create this site in the planning phase. Means we know that within the DNA, we have certain tabs. What tabs we have in DNA? Are you able to recall? What are the tabs we have in the DNA?
Oh, you mean the site area?
Yeah, so that's right. So we have one of the important tab inside menu is design, right? Then what is next? The other tab we have is called as a provisioning, right? Like that we have tab. Then other tab you have is assurance. One tab you have in between provisioning and assurance is policy. And then finally you have one tab tools. Like these are the major 5 tabs we have within the menu. Apart from that, there are different like reporting and activity and systems and all. Now we have discussed this thing earlier, that what we can do with the design tab. Do you know, are you able to recall what we can achieve with the design tab? It's very important for the CCI exams as well, that we should know that within the design tab, what we can do. Design is nothing but your planning phase, right? So here, you're right here, you can go and design your site hierarchy, your floor planning and all those things, right? Here you can go and put your network system, global IPs, pool of addresses, different type of network profile, everything, all those information which is the platform of the network, which is global to the network, which is common within the network. That will be the part of that will be the part of networking design. So we know that part of networking design is IP addresses. So you can go and create pool of IP addresses. That part of network is where is the placement of DNS or AAA server or DHCP server or image distribution server or NTP or syslog. All those information you are putting within the design section. Now design section is easy, other hand it is little bit difficult as well, because once we have proper design in the DNA, then provisioning, assurance, policy, tools, they are the supplementary. So these things are supplementary below, but they are also very, very powerful. That we will go and verify in the upcoming section. So let's quickly go and do the discovery for few of the networking devices. You can see here I have 2 switches, 9300 and one ISR router that I want to discover today. So let's go to the DNA, and this is just the sequence that we have done in our previous section, previous class. So let me go to the DNA. Once we are inside the DNA, then we can go and discover it. Discover the devices. I have eyes as well in this lab. This is a different lab that I have shared with you. So let's go here in DNA, and within the DNA, you can see this menu. You can go here, click design. Then if you have network hierarchy set. So why I am setting this network hierarchy as a branch 1 and branch 2? Because in a few of the exams, you will get those same name. So maybe NY, I'll add NY, and inside NY, I'll go and add only branch 1 and branch 2. So we can go here and add building. In the building, I will go and add branch 1. And then I have to give something. And branch 2. Then we'll go and discover the devices as well. So let's go to area one more time. And here I'll go and add branch 2, not area, right? We should add the building in between them. So one building we have added as a branch 1. Other building I will go and add as branch 2. All right. Now, once we have, I will show you rest of the things as well in the design, because those are very important. Network setting, image repository, profile. Today I'm going to explain more about the profile. Authentication template, mostly it is used for wireless networking, this authentication template. Great. So now let's quickly go ahead. You can see the tabs, right? Design, policy, provisioning, assurance, tools, platform, activities, and all. First four, they are important. So now let's quickly go to the tools, and you can see the discovery. I want to discover my devices, say non-fabric devices, give the IP pool. I know the IP addresses for those devices, management addresses, 128.22 and other is 23. And then I have one router as well whose IP is unique, 133.145. I can give this IP. Now, if we go below, you can see I don't have the SNMP informations and all here. That will be painful if you don't have. So let's quickly go and check what SNMP information we have for these devices at least. Otherwise, we'll go and put it. SNMP server, it's not there. So let's configure it. SNMP server community, and so I'll do one thing. I can do like this, RO and RW, and then I can copy only these two lines of configuration. Okay, then let's copy and paste. I can go here. Let's refresh this, and let's go here. Put it, and then RW, and then the router. And here, and all right, so we put this SNMP information. We already have the CLI credentials. Then we'll go and add the credential. CLI, I'll go and give username and password. This is the password. And same is the enable password. I want to save this as a global. It will give us the warning. It will tell that do not use admin as a credential. You should have some better username and password. So now you can see here we have this pink icon. Now let's go to SNMPv2, read RW. RW is the community. Save. And then the right one. Save. Next, I want to add the netconf port number 830. Save it. Okay, so some error it is coming, but anyways, it should be saved. If we scroll down, it is saved, and in the advanced, you will see that SSH is there. Now let's start the discovery. Task has been submitted. Discovery is in progress. You can see 0 devices has been discovered. Once these devices will get discovered, what I will do, that I'll go and associate one of the switch to branch 1 and one of the router and switch to branch 2. This process is going on. I'll wait. If everything is okay, so you can see that one device, one router got discovered. So that's why the counter is 1 here. And if everything is successful, all the IPs are reachable, then we will see 3 here. The process is going on. Let's try to discover the device. Still it is in progress. We can wait. If anything is wrong related to IP, then it will fail. That we'll see, no problem. And what's the error we have? One critical alert. Is that? Let's see. Netconf port is already exists. So it was telling that netconf is already there. Okay. Now you can see that 2 devices got discovered. It's taking some time. If DNA has any issue reaching these devices, it will keep try. You can see retry count 3. And once everything is good, then only it will show you in the discovery. Now let's go to inventory, because what I want to assign those devices to the site. Still you can see that it is not showing the host name. We can refresh the page. Now you can see all 3 devices there. So let's go and assign this router and this switch to branch 1. So we'll go to the action. Now this is very interesting. If you do this, you will get little bit confusion here. So this is the focus. You can see focus is inventory, although you can go and change the focus as a provisioning security software image. At the moment, focus is inventory and then action. So this is the focus and this is the action. Action is provisioning and provision device. Different device, so it is telling that you have router and mix of router and switch. So I'm unable to provision both at a time. You do one thing, provision one nature of device first and then the other. So let's go to the router first and go and do the provision. Choose the site. This I want to assign to branch 1. We will go. You will see about this advanced configuration later on. Today I will show you in the network profile section. So now this task is submitted. Likewise, we'll go back and this particular switch 1, let's go and assign, do the provisioning to the same site, that is branch 1. Doing this. You can see so many different configurations are there. But let's go and submit this. And finally, the last device that we have, I'll go and provision this to branch number 2. This branch. Right. Now once it is done, now we can go to branch 1. And in branch 1, you can go and see the topology. You will see that you have router, you have switch. And branch 2, you can go and see that you have one device here because we have mapped like this, right? Now, so far, you have any query? You have any question? Please feel free to ask. So what we have done so far, that we have discovered 3 devices here. You can see green signal. in branch 1, and we put all those devices in branch 1 and branch 2. Green means it's healthy and it's good. Great. Now let's quickly go and check the theoretical slide that we have quickly, because in previous session we have covered very less slides. In day 1 we have actually 137 slides. So let me quickly go and walk you through this. Few of the slides we have discussed in our previous session. We have done all these things. Now, if we have the DNA and you want to onboard, what are the steps we'll see? So today we have almost 100 slides to check. Those are the theoretical slides. But what I will do, I will go here and there, means I will cover a few of the slides and then we'll go and perform the lab task. As I mentioned earlier, that today I'm going to explain you about network profile in the design section. That is very interesting thing that we have in the design section, how we can go and create the network profile. And then I will go and create very a small template, and that template I will push from DNA. So that template is nothing but the configuration. So that configuration will go and push to the switch and router. We'll see that what will happen. All right. But before that, let's quickly check the DNA theory related to hardware and very basic thing. Now you can see here that DNA is again depends upon the size of the network, how many devices we want to manage and all. So let me quickly show you the slide here and then I'll come back. So you can see that the scale, how many routers you want to manage, how many wireless devices you want to manage, means according to the manageability of how many devices, how many ports, how many sites we have, we can go and choose what type of DNA hardware we want. So for a smaller company or a smaller sites, we can go and use 44 core, bigger size like mid size 56, and the biggest we have 112 cores. It purely depend upon that what type of site we have. If it is very big, then obviously we can go with the bigger hardware. If it is mid size, generally this customer are using UCS C22M5. Most of the customer they will use this. And then if it is a small site, we can go and use this 44 core. The point here is this, that for all the controllers, it is not about DNA controller. If it is SD-WAN controller or ACI controller, Cisco is recommending that you should have 3 in a cluster. Why? Because if any of the controller will go down, still you have some other controllers for high availability. Even Cisco term and condition is like this, that if you have less than 3 controllers, then even you can't open tag cases. They will ask you first question, do you have 3 controllers? No, then we will not support. Or if they support, they will provide best effort support. Okay, so these are just the hardware number. This type of hardware we have for DNA. Behind the scene, you can see this is UCS chassis or UCS box. These boxes actually, these C series boxes, they are heavily used in data centers as well for different compute purposes. But here we have a UCS box. On top of that, we have grapevine operating system, and then we have the container services called maglev. So if I go and log into these devices, we have to go and log in. Once you log in, you have to use the maglev credentials. All right, so if we have the 44 core, and these are just the important slides, just for your reference, that suppose if you have to go and work on these different hardwares, you should know first of all the categories of hardware. Is a 44 core, 56 core, 112 core, etc. These are just the hardware specification. And anyways, you have to go and create the cluster of these hardware. So how these cluster will fit on, that we will go and discuss. Before going there, let me quickly go and show you one very important slide here. In this slide, what is important related to network? Now, if I ask you, okay, you have to go and think like this. You have to go and use one management platform. Suppose I have to go and use the DNA as a management platform. So in that DNA, suppose this is my DNA, UCS C series DNA. What type of ports I need in this box? What type of ports you need? The interfaces you required. What you
Well,
will
you
do
got
with this
Ethernet. You got to need Ethernet.
Ethernet interfaces, and what will be the purpose? And this is one of the server.
Probably management port.
100% right. One will be the management, yeah. So one is the management port. Okay, great.
I think one's going to be your data port.
One is the data port. That's right. Yep. Other
Console.
console, yeah. Uh, Here in server world, we have something called SIMC console that you can manage the server itself with the SIMC port,
Oh, okay.
right? So manage means the fan, the power slot, the hardware itself is managed by the SIMC. All those UCS box, if you see any UCS box, you'll find they have one SIMC interface to manage the hardware itself, to manage the server itself. So that's the console. Yeah, right. Any other guess?
Is there some kind of a heartbeat port or something like that?
Heartbeat port. Yeah, you're right. Because if you are creating the cluster, right? So you need some sort of cluster interface. Yeah, spot on. I think
Okay.
only one is left.
I don't know what that would be.
So I'll give you the guess. Nowadays, Cisco is offering the customers that, okay, I will give you the box and rest of the pieces, for example, the upgrades. So suppose I'm running DNA 3.1 and then I want to upgrade to 3.3, for example, 3.7 or 5. How I can upgrade?
So it's a migration port?
Migration port. That's right. But is it not like, if we are upgrading some routers or switches, what we are doing? We are putting the new image somewhere and then copying the image to the boot flash, etc., and then updating, right?
Yeah.
But if you have to update a Linux machine, how
Linux,
you are
yeah.
updating? How you are updating? Something command like apt-get update, and automatically it will connect somewhere to the distribution servers hosted in the
Okay.
cloud, right?
Yeah, that's
And
right.
then all the patches will get updated. So one interface is there for cloud
Oh,
connection.
they actually
Eh,
put an extra interface in there just for that. Wow.
Yeah, yeah. So in that case, because there are so many software packages, and after every 3 months, Cisco is releasing new update and packages in DNA because they have done so much improvement in DNA, and you will see different features in DNA. And since this is working as a management plane, for example, at this point of time, we are not using this as a control plane. Even it will
Right.
never be used as a control plane. We'll see that later on. So if the DNA is down, there is no problem.
What are they labeling that port? Do they label it something?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
called cloud?
we'll see that. I will show you that. So
Okay.
now we are very much familiar that we have 5 different interfaces. One is for management, one is for enterprise, that is the data port. One is for inter DNA cluster, that's the cluster port. One is the cloud integration, one is the SIMC. Now, if I ask you that suppose if we have this product, so different interfaces, how much bandwidth you will give? Like management, do we need 10 gig, 1 gig? Data port, do we need 10 gig, 1 gig, 100 gig, like that? So you will see in the upcoming slides that the bandwidth, the interface bandwidth, if it is SIMC or management, we don't need 10 gig. So even it will
No.
work with 1 gig as well. Now you will see
more
this.
than enough.
Yeah. Now you will see this particular diagram. Here you have some USB port, some other ports as well, some indicators, etc. But you will see 3 is the management port. It's 1 gig slash 10 gig, and you can see the 3 where it is. So you can see 3 here. Then you can see 4. So our ports that we just now we have discussed, you will find 3, 4, 6, 7, somewhere 10. Let's see. 3 is there, 4 is there. 4 is what? Cloud port, you can see here.
Mm-hmm.
Use the marker so I can highlight. Right. And then 6 is your SIMC, Cisco IMC port to manage the device itself. And you can see it is 1 gig port. Then you can see serial port, rear port. Like that in this slide, if you go, so what I have done later, now you can see 11 is the cluster port, that is 10 gig Gbps. So you can see the placement of 11 in the diagram somewhere on the top. Okay, so like that we have the interfaces and port, and I have created one summary as well. So we'll come to know that these ports, I have one diagram. Let me quickly show you that diagram, and then I will come back and we'll discuss about the planning and all those things. So here also you can see I have added this detail about these ports, like management port, then cloud port, enterprise port. Some are optional, some are required. Cluster port, okay, SIMC port, and then how they are connected. So let's go back and we'll move it slowly. Right. But I think you know that how many ports are there, what's the significance of those ports, right?
Yes.
That's great.
That was good. Yeah.
So DNA we know, and just when we have started today, I asked one question that could you please tell me that what type of tabs we have in DNA? It is there when we have started the class. I will ask this thing one more time because this is important question. What tabs you have in the menu?
What do you mean by what tabs? You mean all the different names for them, or what
Yeah.
kind name?
So when you are opening DNA dashboard, you have menu. Within that menu, once you open that, you have different tabs there, right? Like
Right.
design.
Provisioning.
Yeah, provisioning.
Oh, you're talking
Provision.
about underneath the hamburger menu. What was the
Yeah,
menu?
hammer. Yeah, hammer. Yeah.
Got it.
Policy. Then
Tools.
100% right. Tools
Tools.
and at least assurance. There are others as well. We will see all of those. Now, when we are talking about design, this design is nothing but what we want to plan in the network. And that's why you will see this particular slide where I put planning workflow, right?
Yeah, because that's the first step. You got to plan.
Yeah. So we want to install, what's the prerequisite to install this? Obviously, you need to know that what you want to assign as a enterprise network, because there is one port called data port or enterprise port. So for that enterprise port, what is the IP address? Then for SIMC, what type of IP address you want to assign? For
Right.
management, what type of IP address you want to assign, right? And cloud is there, just cloud connectivity, but you will see later on that for cloud connectivity as well, like my device, directly we will not allow to go and talk to the cloud. So that means within the cloud and DNA, we should filter some services that we want to allow. What are those ports and services we want to allow between the DNA and the cloud? That we have the list. So we should have all those important IP addresses and services on all those lists. Apart from that, Suppose DNA is working as a management plane, so it is placed somewhere in the DMZ zone or somewhere, right? Now DNA and the devices, which ports, what type of communication they have. So only those ports you want to open. For example, netconf 830. For example, port number 22. So these communication channel port should be open in between DNA and the data plane devices, right?
Sure. Yeah, they have to be able to communicate, right?
Yeah. So now you can see that we know about the management port, we know about the enterprise port, cloud port. Even you can see this cloud port option is 1/10 gig, because sometimes you are downloading gigs of packages.
Yeah,
So in
sure.
that you need that SIMs is there. Now you can see here in the diagram that the color coding, it will be very easy to understand with these color codes, that you have this 10 gig enterprise port, cluster port, management, cloud, and SIMC. This is one of the very important thing. Once you want to go unbox the DNA device, and then you will see so many ports, what to use, how to use, because booting the operating system, it's very easy task. Like you are booting the Linux machine. Just go, whatever they will ask, just put those information, enter, and you will see your Linux is up and running. System is up and running. Now, there is one caution here in DNA. Suppose if you go and assign some enterprise IP addresses, go and assign some management IP addresses, okay? And later on, if you want to change those addresses, it will not allow you. You are done. That
It's
means
gonna build it based on, yeah, okay.
yeah. So then you have to re-image the DNA, and then you have to do that. That is very, very tedious work. So before doing the unboxing, once you want to deploy the DNA, make sure that you have the list of all those IP addresses. Good thing about these slides is that you will find it. I will show you in the upcoming slide, but this slide is also very important, that if you have big box, like if you have 112 core appliance, there you will see the interfaces are different. They are located at different places. But if you follow these documents, it will be very easier. If you get any type of DNA, you can easily install the DNA.
But it's still gonna be the same. They all have to have the same kind of ports, right? They're just different places.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah. And you can see if you have cluster, then you can use the cluster like this and connect with the switches, and it will be working fine. All right, so once we'll go, and once we have the IP schema for all those required port, once we'll go and do the rake and stack, means cabling of all these devices and interface and then switches, then what is next? Next, obviously, we want to turn on the machine. Once you go and turn on the machine, then obviously your boot up process will start. Here is just an example that what IP should you use or not use, etc. So once your boot up process will get a start, then what steps you have to go and follow, that I am going to show you in the upcoming slides. But before going there, because that is again theory, right? So before going there, what we have done in the lab today is that we have created some sites, we have discovered some devices and assigned those devices to the site. As I told you earlier in this session, that today we are going to discuss about network profile as well. So let's go and give some time to the DNA, 15 minutes time to understand the network profile. And then I will come back to these slides, because now in this, what we want to do is the provisioning. So from here onwards, we have slides related to provisioning. Let's go back to the DNA. Let's do some hands-on, and then we'll come back. Okay, so I told you earlier that design is one of the place where we are doing all sort of planning. So we very much at this point of time, in previous session and this session, we have done a small lab related to network hierarchy. We know what is site, what is building, what is floor, we can do that. So we know that. Now what is next? You can see that next we have network setting. So if I go to network setting, and I told you earlier that it will go and inherit. So whatever configuration you will do to the global, it will go and replicate to all the branches below. You can see there is nothing, right? There is no DHCP, no DNS, nothing is there. So what will get inherit? So why not? Let's go and add the eyes that we have in the lab here. So for that, it's very important steps, and it is coming in the exams as well. So what you have to do, you have to click here again to the menu, and then you will see somewhere system. In the bottom, you can see the system tab, right? If you go to the system, and then you can see the settings. So menu, system and settings. Go to the settings, and now you can see that the option that you have, tons of option that you have that you can go and integrate with DNA. Here you can see vManage, IPAM, WebEx, Cisco AI Analytics, Stealthwatch, flow collectors, CMX, machine reasoning engine, cloud access keys, log debugging, integration systems, certificates, and in the top you will see plug and play connect, like your smart account licensing, all sort of options you have, right? But here we are looking for AAA. So let's quickly search this authentication and policy server. Now there is nothing. So we want to go and add the ICE here. And let me show you. We have ICE. What is the IP here? Let's see. The IP is this IP. You can go here, click add AAA ICE. Let's add this as a ICE. What's the server IP? What's the shared secret key? What's the username? I can show you the shared secret key.
Let's go and
Yeah. Oops. Let me go and copy this shared secret key from the top. Okay. That's the problem with copy and paste. Anyways, it will come. Meanwhile, I will go to the ICE because I need the URL for that. So you can go to the administration and system deployments. You can see this ICE here. Click there. And we need this FQDN. So we'll copy, we'll come back to the DNA. Still it is like this. So let's go and give the password, correct password, and then the FQDN. Now, if you scroll a little bit down, you will see here that we have advanced setting. In case you want to enable TACACS, you can go and enable.
Nice.
So radius is by default, we can go and enable TACACS. Now here you can see that we have this connect to PixieGrid, use Cisco DNS certificate for PixieGrid. So it will go and connect to PixieGrid as well. That's the communication channel in between the DNA and the ICE. So now you can see that because it is not trusting the ICE certificate, that's why we have this error. You can click accept, and then you will see that it is establishing the trust, discovering the node, connecting the PixieGrid. You'll see sooner that this integration will be completed. So let's wait for all green signals. Now, if we do this integration, what exactly we are doing? We are exactly behind the scene integrating DNA and ICE, right?
ICE, right, yeah.
That means that now DNA, we are giving the policy plane. So now DNA has the intelligence, right? And one thing I just wanted to show you here. So now if
So upon that integration, does it read all of the policies that the ICE already has and apply them or no?
yeah, so if we do that SD access integration, then it will be, yeah.
Ah, Okay.
So it will go and read all those SG ACLs, the VNs and all. We'll see that later on. I am going to cover that the question that you have asked. I'm going to
Okay.
cover this later on. At the moment, what we have done, simply we have integrated DNA with ICE, normal integration. You can see now it is active. That means good. And while integrating, it was showing that you can go and see this 360 of ICE as well. So what I'm telling, that you can go here, you can go to the system, you can go to the system health. And now you can see that Pixie Grid, ICE, right? Connectivity and all those things are looking good. Still, this is the DNA. You can click here and we can check. Please add SIMC details. So that's why showing some orange here. SIMC details are not there. But you can see that how we are connecting here. And then if I go back here, let's go back to the, oops, sorry for that. Let's go back here. I just wanted to show you one more thing as System 360. Once you are here in the System 360, if I scroll a little bit down, you can see below the ICE integration here below. Primary, Pixie Grid, because in my ICE is working as four in one, like the PSN, PAN, Pixie Grid, MNT, everything is there in that ICE. Now, if I go and click here, now you'll see what is happening. ICE is opening. So from DNA, we can open ICE. From DNA, you can open vManage. From DNA, you can open IPAM.
Oh, so it opened up in another tab. Oh, okay.
Yeah, it will open in the other tab. Yeah, so you can see this ICE get opened here. Great. So why we have done this small integration? Because I just wanted to show you something that if you go to the design and the network settings, now in the global, you can go and click add server. And now if you go and click this AAA, okay. So now you will see if I go to the network and click ICE and click here, simply it is searching this address. You can see PSN, right? And if I have DHCP, actually I don't have any reachable DHCP address, so I'll do one thing. I'll go and give any IP and then the domain name cisco.com just to show you. And primary address for that domain is okay. It is maybe incorrect. Let me quickly log into the device and see if I have the domain information. Let me go to the switch. And let's log in. Domain. Okay, if we have anything, I think it's nothing is configured here, just normal IPs. And now you will see that once DNA will get communicate with these devices, DNA, they are putting their certificates to these devices. So actually very less configuration we have in these devices. So that's why you're not seeing that. I have the domain and the NTP and all those addresses. At the moment, it is not with me, but later on in the labs, we'll go and give the correct domain name, correct NTP and all. At the moment, I'll go and fill out like this. Now before, okay, let me go and click save. I'm saving it, right? It's getting saved. Now let's go here and let's check show run section, AAA. What AAA configuration we have? I can see AAA new model authentication default, these 4-5 lines, right? Then if I can go here and go to the other device, Oops. Okay. And if I go here to the router and log in, let's check the router as well. What AAA configuration we have. Yeah. Oh, it has all those configurations. Big configuration, right? And assurance section. I also don't have much configuration. So we'll go back here and this is saved. So what I try to show you here, because what you have done in the global level, you have added these information. Now, if you go to branch level, you should see all these informations, right? Branch level, you should see all those informations, right? Because of the inheritance property we have. Now, with respect to device credentials, we have created some credentials today in the discovery, and then we can assign as well. Assign option is there. So I can go to the CLI, and this admin CLI we have created. I can go and click assign, and then apply CLI credential to branch 2. But there are some other things as well. It is asking that why it is not asking about branch 1, because branch 1 do not have AAA configuration to the switch. So that's why we got the information only for branch 2, because in branch 2 or maybe branch 1 we have some devices discovered and assigned. We will see that, but anyways, I'll not go much far here. We'll go slowly. I will show you everything. So main agenda here is simple, that I want to show you that within the design section, we know about the hierarchy. And now what we have done, now we have created the network setting as well. In network setting, we have done this configuration related to network later on, and the device credential, and you can see applied. It's applied to one of the branch, like the SNMP. This configuration we can go and apply to the site. In that site, whatever devices we have, all those devices will get this configuration. Later on, I will tell you about this address pool. This is one of the question we have in the exams. And then SP profile, the wireless and telemetry. Everything I will cover slowly. But you should feel confident. What is the use of network? What is the use of device credentials? Right?
Yeah.
So far, you have any question? So the AAA configuration that we have in the network setting, here you can see it got inherited here. Now, is this means that it got pushed to the devices? The answer is no, it is not. And generally what is happening, that before even if you are doing that pushing from DNA to the devices, you should have these devices added here in the ICE as well. Right, so let me quickly go and see within the ICE. So here you can see that devices are added here already. It is there in ICE, and you will see that within the ICE we have this radius authentication is enabled, and you can check the shared secret, because we haven't enabled the tachicus, so that is not clicked here. Rest everything is okay. So we are good. Now what we can do here is that we can go back to DNA. Now we know that only one place from where we are doing the provisioning. Now you can go to the menu, provisioning, inventory. Go to branch 1 or branch 2. Let's go to branch 2 first. I can select this action, provision the device, and let's see the advanced configuration, summary. Now you will see these informations, right? From where it is coming? These informations, they are coming from the DNA global setting inherited to the branch level, right? Earlier we don't have these settings. Now, if you go and do the provisioning, now you can see the DNS domain server as well, although few of the information, they are incorrect. But now we can go and click deploy. And before doing the deployment, I just want to generate the configuration. So let's generate it. Let's see that.
Does that simulate what we actually
Yeah,
set up?
what we want to push. Yeah, what configuration we want to push to all the devices in that particular branch. At the moment, we have only one. So now you can see that it is generating the configuration. Basically, we are interested to see the AAA configuration, because AAA related configuration is not there in that particular switch. Basic configuration is there, not related to our eyes. So it is generating the configuration, and this is new feature that Cisco has added. Now, point here is that we should not wait. We should do other things as well. Give DNA some time to generate these configurations and all, because anyways, we don't want to push it now. We just wanted to generate and verify, and we'll see. We want to send this configuration to other team members as well, just to make sure this is correct. It's like pre-work.
If you hit the refresh button, it probably will show you what's happening, right?
Yeah, so you can see refresh button is there. You can refresh and see successful already. So let's see the AAA configuration. You see all this AAA configuration. Earlier we have very less. Maybe you're unable to see this properly, but these are the configuration that it got generated. All the radius configuration, all the AAA configuration, the pack keys, everything got generated. Some of the metadata it is showing.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Right? And then in below, you can see that they have the deploy. So now you can go and click deploy, provision the device, click apply. So once we know that what configuration we are pushing, then we can go and click the deploy button. And now if we can go back to our device, it's really interesting. This DNA is really good. All these features that Cisco has added, and all the time they are making it very, very useful. Okay. Password mismatch. Yep. Now authentication failed. Great.
It probably changed that, right?
Yeah, so now username and password got changed, seems. That's a problem with the ICE. Anyways, no problem. We'll check that. It's gone. Let me reconnect and try one more time. Still the configuration push is going on behind the scene from DNA to the device. And it has some issue related to SSH, no problem. SSH key having some, yeah. So let's go to this place and let's try to from the local system. Wow. So we have some problem here related to the key. I don't know what happened. We lose that particular device, and let's see. So once we are here, and we can go to the device credentials, and let's see, admin, sign, lie, global. Okay, this is site global, means all the devices, progress, and it's going on.
So with that, while you're pushing a config to the device, right?
Yeah, so we push and then we are getting this authentication failure. Something
Okay.
is happening, but anyways, we can check this, no problem. We can go to the eyes as well, and we can go and check the live logs. So where is the live logs? Go to operations and radius live logs. You have anything that is blocking? Okay, so with the configuration, what happened? That ICE has pushed some CTS as well, some pack keys and all. And due to that, there is some problem. Okay, and some certificate issue is going on in between the device and the ICE. So what we can do, multiple ways we can recover from this. We can go and rediscover. So we can go and remove this particular device from the DNA. We can rediscover and then it will be fine. So there is no much issue in this, but yeah, these things may happen. Okay, so what we will do quickly here, that we have pushed this configuration to branch 1. Now why not push this configuration to branch 2 as well. This configuration means the AAA configuration. So what is the process? You can go here, you can go to the provisioning, inventory, branch 1, device will come. Because these are two different nature of devices, so you can push these configuration one by one. Click provision devices. Next. Next. Now all these configuration will get pushed. Next. Now directly go and push it.
Did you see the warning that it said don't use admin as your user account with
Yeah. So when we have created, at that time only we got that warning. Even in the discovery also, if you go do that, it will tell you do not use this type of unsecure password, username password. Just a warning, you can bypass. Means you should create the proper username and password. Should not use admin.
Yeah, so it said you won't be able to log into your devices, which is what you're experiencing. Did you see that?
It's telling that you will not, you're unable
Yeah,
to.
go back to where you were. Actions, provision, and then read the little warning right there on the next page. There. Do not use admin as using for your CLI credentials. If you are using eyes as your AA server, you can do this. You can result in you not being able to log into your devices.
Okay, great. That's really good feature. Actually, earlier we are able to log in, but I think they have added this thing. Means we are bypassing this and using admin. So this is good. So that's why we are not login. Good catch. Yeah, thank you. So that means that we should go and change the user credential, and then we can go and patch it. That's great. Okay. So let's go back here, but I have done the same thing. Let's go back here. Let's go and check this ISR. And let's go back to the ISR router here. Oops. But we should not use that. Means we should create proper username and password to configure the devices and all. So I can see this is there, and actually it was earlier as well. Let's check this device. And here we have the problem, so we should not use this. Okay, but anyways, we know that how we can go and push, and you can play around with this. You should not use admin as a username, and the password should be strong. Any doubts so far? That's okay, right?
No, it's good. Yeah.
All right. So next task for the day we have is to create the network profile. But what I will do now, let's go and complete our slides, and the network profile that you have here in the design. If you go to design, you'll see this network profile below the 4th number. What is the use of network profile? I will go and cover in the next session. Let's go and complete our slides. If we have time today, then I'll go and create few, and I will show the use of this network profile. So let's go back to the slides. Here we are. So what we have done so far is that we have unboxed the devices. We have done the cabling for those devices. We have put those devices in the rake. So rake and cabling we have done. Now what we want to do is this, that we want to power on the device. So before power on the device, you will see that it will tell you, Cisco will recommend you that since one of your port is the cloud port, so you should allow these URLs. You can see the list of URL, Cisco Connect DNA.com, Cisco Connect DNA, CDN registry, etc. Why? Because these are the places from where the DNA can go and get the patches and update. Obviously, we have to go. So what you need to do actually, that you see this a small cloud button here. If you go and click this cloud button and then go to the software update, then it will tell you, hey, 23377 is here. You want to use this? In this particular version, we have added some more AI ops features, NetOps, SecOps platforms. You want to do? Click switch now. If you click this switch now, then what version we are running? So you can go and see the version that we have is 2234. So from 2234, we can upgrade it to 2237. Why? Because of this cloud connect we have. Now in this case, all these images that you are seeing here in below, it will get updated. So you can see different services are running, different applications are running NCP, NDP, NDP. Then you will see automation. Then you will see assurance, programming features, policy applications, and all. All these packages will get updated and get installed. So you have to update and then you have to click install. Right? With this is the Cloud Connect feature. That's why it will go and connect these places and it will update everything. Okay. Then what about swim feature? I told you earlier that we have software image management. For those, we have to enable this. If you have Meraki integration, you have to go and allow these URLs. And likewise, the list of URLs we have for smart accounts, licensing, PNP portals, for AI
Wait,
intelligence.
you'll also be checking the different types of devices that you have, like the different switches, and check what version you can upgrade them to. Or is it just the like say the services running on the DNA?
Services on DNA, yeah.
Okay.
Services on DNA, yeah. If we are using swim feature, then swim feature, that's the question that you asked, that different devices, image management. So DNA will go and download the latest image related to those devices that we are running, and then from DNA we can go and upgrade all the devices that we have in the network. That's the swim feature.
Okay.
All right. So likewise, we have to go and allow these URLs for different purposes. If you go and check the list, you'll find the purpose related to AI, swim, Meraki integration, smart account, communications, then the upgrade for DNA. So this is the list of URLs we have. Okay, so we can go and allow these URLs. Now, if we are using proxy in between, so we should use the proxy feature as well. If the DNA is behind the proxy, so we should consider that as well. Now you can see a different type of service ports. Port number 22, 67, 80, NTP is 123, SNMP 162. These should also be allowed. Otherwise, the communication between DNA and the devices will not happen. Some of the ports we don't want to allow, so we can block. So we don't want telnet, we can block. But these are the service ports. We know about this TNS and port at 80 and 123 and 161 and all those things. We should allow these ports. Apart from that, you can see the Pixie grid port. So the communication in between the DNA and the ICE is happening over Pixie grid, PX grid. For that, we have these two ports. And for the APIs, we have 9060. Actually, this API is related to ICE API. If you go and open the ICE API doc, you should allow 9060, right? So these are the very important port list. So URL list, we should know the URL list. We should know the port list. And if we are using DNA as a SD access solution, you can see when we are defining the border and control and edge node, etc. Then there are some other requirements as well. For SD access, we have two dedicated class. So we'll discuss about SD access in that particular session. Day I think 9 and 10 is for SD access. Okay. Then you have the summary. When you are planning to deploy your DNA, you should know all these things. This is actually related to SD access fabrics. But we have the summary, what port we want to allow, what services we want to allow, what integrations we have with DNA. It's just a summary of all those informations, right? Just a summary. Okay, be careful while you are doing this. We should know, we should inform that what services are coming, what services are going, and according to that, we can go and do that. Now, coming back to the same thing, that same problem we faced just now is the password issue. So when we provide the password to the maglev, the interface is maglev. What I'm telling, that if you go here to the DNA, if you go and log into the DNA from the GUI, from the CLI, sorry, your username is maglev, and then the password. I will give you some CLI commands to this maglev. In this maglev, although the font is very small, but you can see little bit. This is the CLI for the DNA, and this CLI is very much robust. You can go and install some sort of containers as well, and you can run services. Later on in our section, I will go and install some Python package, some Python script here with help of GitHub, and we'll go and run the Aura report. That report is something like DNA readiness report from this maglev. Apart from that, we can go and check some certificate things as well from the CLI, but sky is limit. There are so many CLI commands that you have in this maglev that you can go and run. Okay. So let's go back. Maglev, we should put some strong password to maglev, and it's the password specification and all. Should have the proper password for to the SIMC as well, admin and super admin. And later on, we will see the DNA users and DNA password as well, how we can go and create those things. So we'll go and see. All these are information slides just for the knowledge, and it is already shared with everyone. You can go and have a look on that. Now today what we have done, that we have integrated our DNA with ICE. That is one of the very important feature we have, because if you do not do that integration, your DNA will lack the policy feature. It will not work as a policy plane, right? Now we have few slides related to install. So once you unbox, power on that, go and power on the DNA. All the status light you can see, and I have added all different DNA appliance like 44 core, 56 core, and 112 core. Once you power on, then what are the things we need to consider? We have discussed about this as well. What type of ports we have, like enterprise, cluster, management, SIMC, etc. We should consider the IPs and what URL we want to pass it. Just some of the snapshot you have. Then the URL, here you have the list of top URLs, but in the early slide you can see the list of the URLs. We have discussed about these ports, management, data, enterprise, etc. So now we are very much ready to go and power on. Once you power on, then you will see the Linux cell like this. Okay, and now what Cisco has done, they have built this in a way that it's very much interactive. You click, you will ask, press enter, it will ask, press enter, it will ask. So now what it is asking, it is telling that start a DNA center cluster. Below you can see join a DNA cluster. So if you are deploying first box, then you will choose the first option, the start DNAC cluster. Then you can see clearly it is asking that this particular interface IP, cluster link. And here I have given the notes as well. So that means that you go, just follow this step. You know that it will ask you about the cluster IP, management IP, enterprise IP, SIMC IP, all those things it will ask you one by one. Just put those information, and the bottom you can see the next button. Click next, next, do it. Now it will take, now earlier it was taking 12 hours, the older version. Now it will take at least 4 hours to get all the packages, everything get installed. Okay. Finally, it will ask you a tough password for DNA, GUI, and DNA maglev. GUI password may be different, maglev password may be different. Now we should put different password for GUI and maglev. So once you follow all these steps, click, 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 your installation will get completed. Once the installation is done, then you want to log into the DNA. Log into the DNA. Later on, I will go and explain about different type of users that we can go and create within the DNA. This is important when we are doing DNA external integration with ICE. These informations are very, very important. We'll see that. So now once your DNA got installed, now what you will do, you will log into the DNA. But when you are logging to the first time, It will ask you that old password, new password. You have the option to change the password to some very strong password. You'll get the welcome message like this. You can go and register your CCA smart account. So you can go and give that a smart account detail if you want. You can skip as well. Now, if you want to integrate with IPAM, you can go and give the IPAM like Infoblox Blue Coat IPAM information. You can give it. If you have proxy server, you can go and give that proxy server information. Like that, it will ask you all those informations. You can go and add, and now your DNA is ready to log in. You can log into the DNA and you can design, automate, assure your network. Right? So you can do all those fun stuff once you log into the DNA. That will be the day 0. Right? You have any question to this point?